Jackie, check. All right, we're back. We are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to turn that music down in the background just there. My name is Treblesome 1234, Treble for short, and welcome to our second session here on Treble's Music Workshops. This is next section is designed for intermediate players. So if you've had a couple of years under your belt, you kind of know your open chords pretty well. You kind of know some basic things on the guitar. This is a session for you. Today we're going to be looking at starting off with power chords, and then we're going to move on to some bar chords and how to apply them to the same songs that actually we did in the beginner section today as well. So let's get started, I guess. So so if you are here for the first time, first of all, welcome in. You must be a follower today to be able to chat in the chat. So it's all free to follow. It's free to get the resources today in my Discord, which I'm linking to you right now in the chat just there. Head over to my Discord and you'll be able to access all the materials that we go through in today's session. A reminder that today's session you can watch on past broadcasts as well. So if there's anything that's too difficult or you need to go over again, you can go back to the past broadcast and watch over that with pausing, stopping and all that sort of stuff. If you have any questions, queries or doubtful points at any point, any questions at any point throughout today's session, please ask in the chat and I'll do my best to answer it as much as I can, because I can promise you that other people have this, probably similar questions. So let's get started. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing for today's session. Let's jump over to the whiteboard here and I'll just quickly get a few things set up. So right now, on the whiteboard, you can see the songs that we worked on in our first beginner section. We looked at doing the open chords A minor, C, F, and G. So I'm going to assume that people who are participating, and let me know who is here to learn, who has a guitar in hand right now and is ready to learn some of this stuff. Let me know in chat if you've got the guitar and you're ready to learn some new stuff. So what we're going to be looking at first up, though, is our power chords. Now, what is a power chord, you might be asking. In fact, in the chat right now, who knows what a power chord is? What determines a power chord? You can probably see some of the answers on the screen right now. Who's used power chords before? Who knows kind of why they're so useful and why a lot of beginner players like to use, beginner to intermediate like to use these chords? Let me know in chat. So, let's talk about power chords. You can see here from the title of this, once again, this is available for download on my Discord. It says power chords, root and fifth, and essentially that's what it's doing. Is take in chords you have more than one note. A note is a single note. A chord is multiple notes put together. In a chord, you often will have a triad of chords, which is 3 notes within a chord. The middle note often will determine whether the chord is a major or minor chord. A power chord does not have that third in it. It only has the first and the fifth scale degrees, which means that third of a scale degree that we use to determine the chords is not there. So therefore, these chords work for major and minor, which is super handy if you're learning, because you've got to learn just one shape and you can play every song, pretty much every song, like a rock song at least. So let's talk through what we've got on this sheet here and how to decipher this information that's in front of you right now. So looking up to here, you can see there's a neck diagram there. One of the most crucial things I would say to anyone who's learning is to learn at least the E and the A string. So remember that elephants and donkeys grow big ears. E, A, D, G, B, E for the names of the strings, from thick to thin. Memorize the 2 thickest ones, E and A string. And you can see there, if you can't memorize it, there's a diagram just to your side there. The way the power chords are going to work is one shape, as you can see here, one shape that moves around the neck of the guitar. Depending on what chord you want, depends on where you start this chord over here, these chords. So you can see if I zoom in, it says bass or root note. It's got an arrow pointing to the number 1 just there. So wherever I put that first finger, so if I was to do this chord just here, this first one, on, let's say on 3rd fret of the guitar, 3rd fret of the guitar is a G chord, as we can see there. So I think I've got my acoustic still plugged in. Right, so for the so we have one shape just there, and this shape can be moved around the guitar. Especially good for the rock sort of music, but you can also use it in the clean position as well. Let's go close up and learn these chords. Let's change over to this one right here. So what basically the shape is, I'm going to do it on 5th fret for now, which would make it an A power chord, or A5. These are known as 5 chords as well. You're going to put your first finger onto the 5th fret on the low E string. Third finger is going to go onto your A string, and I always try and think of it just missing you miss a fret there. So you got first finger, E string, third finger on A, in this case A7, and pinky finger is just underneath on the same fret just there. And this is your power chord shape, or 5 chord shape. And this is actually really handy to learn because this will help you with bar chords very shortly as well. So once you've got this shape here on the E string, you've just got to hold that shape and move it around the guitar for your different chords. On the string down, you just move the whole entire thing down the string, and this time you only ever play the strings that your fingers are on. So in this case, you've only got 1, 2, 3 strings to play. On the other one, 1, 2, 3 as well. So some ways that you can stop the guitar by hitting these others, that doesn't sound too bad, but hitting those other strings, is that what you want to do is plant your 3rd and 4th, or your pinky finger down here, and you can use it as a bridge to be able to bring your hand up and get better pick control. Sometimes you can even rest your hand down on the guitar. So you might go, I'm just resting on the strings just there with my knuckles. And that will allow you to get better pick control with your right hand. Where if you're completely haven't got anything anchoring yourself onto the guitar, there's a big chance you're going to hit those strings that you don't want to hit. So going back to this here. We have a couple of songs that we're going to be looking at today, and they're the same ones that we just did previously. What we're going to do right now is we're going to play, we're going to try some of those songs that we did earlier on, using these chords and working out how to do it. So for instance, let's look at the one that we finished with, which was Little Talks of Monster and Men. Now, if I wanted to play a A5 chord there, so it says A minor. Remember, the minor major does not matter with a power chord because there is no 3rd in this chord, which means it doesn't matter. There's no defining note in there that makes it major or minor. So for our A minor there, we want to go up to our 5th fret just here on the E string. So you can see the A is just here on the 5th fret, and we want to use this shape just here, this first shape just here. Versatility indeed, Spanky, absolutely. So that first finger is going to go on the 5th fret, the one that we just did, in fact, the same chord that we started with our example. We're going to do the A5 chord just there. Our next chord is F. Now, there's a couple options that you can do here for the F. So once we've gone from our A on the 5th fret, especially, Picardy thirds. Picardy thirds? What's that? I don't know the expression. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Picardy thirds are. I'd love to hear the explanation so I can laugh along with you, Spanky. So with the A string here, you can see it's got different notes. So our next one that we're going to go was, looking back to the music, was F, C, and G is the next 3. So we've got a few options for F. There's one up here on the 8th fret on the A string, or we can go 1st fret on the E string just here. Which one would you guys like to pick? We're starting on the 5th fret here. Now, my recommendation is to go to the one that is closest. You want to try, but sometimes certain songs want a certain sound, and that you got to be conscious of that as well. That some songs want a different sound to what it might produce if you go higher or lower. Spanky says a Picardy third. You've got all of it in there. This is very, very official. Also known as Picardy cadence, is a major chord of the tonic at the end of a musical section that is either modal or in a minor key. This is is it the relative major or minor? This is achieved by raising the third of the expected minor triad by a semitone to create a major triad as form of resolution. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've never heard of it being called that though before, but I know I understand the theory behind what you're saying. Absolutely. I thought it looked like a good cut and paste there, Spanky. Absolutely. So we've got our A on the 5th fret. We're going to go down to our F on the 1st fret for this song here. Now after F we had C and G. For our C, our closest C is going to be on the 3rd fret, and then our G is just going to be on the E string there. So it's going to sound like this. It's going to be A. Then it's going to go to F, then C, then G. So we're on E5 is our starting note with our first finger, down to the E1, to A3, to E3. walking around this old and empty house. So hold my hand, I'll walk with you, my dear. Stairs, so forth, so on. So this is how you can move around these power chords. We're going to spend only a little bit of time on this, not too much, because I want to spend most of the time on the bar chords, which is the trickier one. Does this make sense? Does this make sense to everyone? Is there any questions about this graph, about what I've got here? So essentially right now, you could go to, the way you can use this, and this is good for beginner players as well, is you can go to, like, say, something like ultimateguitar.com, where you get your tabs. So let's say I did that right now. Let's say I went to ultimateguitar.com, and I'm just going to pick a tab here with some chords, hopefully. This one's just tab, I think. I think that one's just tab. Yeah, we want some chords. We want some chords. What do we got here? Where's the chord section in this one? Let me go up to here. Tabs, chords. Let's say Hallelujah, for instance, is a good one to pick, right? Let's say you picked even Hallelujah just here, and you wanted to play these chords, which are fairly easy for this song. It's a fairly easy song. C, A minor, F, and G, which is pretty much exactly what we looked at. In fact, you could use those same chords that we did today in the beginner section and play this song as well, Hallelujah. So all you'll do is find the F on the sheet that I gave you before, and you'd play that shape in that position just there for the F chord for that song, and whatever other chords you need. If it says something like an F sharp, a sharp means is one up from the F. If it says G flat, it'd be one back from the G. And A flat would be one back from the A just here. And A sharp, for instance, is one more up from the A. Are there any questions at all about power chords and how to use them? So remember, you only play the strings that your fingers are on, and it's a movable shape, and it's pretty easy because it's just one shape that moves around. Any questions at all? Any questions? Let me know. So the reason why I put the power chord section in with bar chords is learning that neck of the guitar, the E and A strings, absolutely crucial, right? To kind of knowing how to do a lot of these bar chords. So bar chords can be quite tricky, definitely not for the beginner player. They'll require pretty much persistence to be able to build your muscles up, to be able to hold down that bar effectively. But I'm going to talk to you about some strategies today to try and make that, improve that as much as possible, and try to improve your tone and your sound on your bar chords. So let's have a look at the sheet that I've got here and I've drawn up for today's lesson. Once again, all this is available in my Discord, which has been getting spammed here left and right and center, but I'll do it again, just there in chat. Very similar to before, we have the neck diagram just there, because wherever the red arrow is pointing is going to determine what the chord is. So these are the chord shapes that I've included. Looking on the E string here, major, minor, seventh, major, seventh, and minor seventh. Pardon me. On the A string, major, minor, seventh, major, seventh, and minor seventh. So let's go about learning these. Some of these can be tricky. Some of them can be easier. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start on our E string chords. So looking here, first of all, let's talk about, most of them you can see here have this bar going across. The major seventh doesn't. We'll come to that later on. Most of them have the bar going across. Let's talk about how to get a good sound just from that alone. On the guitar, it comes down to your thumb position. That's really going to help you for the bar chords. A lot of people might have their thumb over like this, which you might see me do on occasion as well. I might bring it around, and in which case I'm capture in here and put the pressure on the back of the neck of the guitar from this part of my hand just there. Now, I would like to see, though, as best as possible with the thumb sitting at the back, especially for those people that are learning, and particularly for bar chords, because bar chords really require that pinch between the thumb and the first finger just there. If you have it right up to the fret, that's the best spot to have it. Further back will result in your mutes, but if you slide it up, you'll see there you get a nice clean sound. Now, what I recommend is using your knuckle and the front of your finger here to really emphasize a lot of pressure. So because there's a bit of a bone in here, you can use that bone to hit those last B and E, top E strings, and your first finger is going to be pushing down onto here, and then everything between there and there, if you're pushing down between here and here, should be a lot easier to push down onto the guitar. So that's the best way to get the bar sort of sound happening, and this bar will move around the neck of the guitar. What is a bar chord? Essentially, it's an open chord with a first finger slapped on. So if you look, for instance, at this first major shape just here, it's actually an E chord, which if you're at this point, I'm assuming you already know these chords. An E open chord. And essentially, if you rearrange your E chord using your second and third finger, second, third, and fourth finger, so instead of doing an E with your first, second, and third, you do it with a second, third, and fourth, like so. You can slide that up, put that first finger on, and you've got yourself our first major bar chord. I'm going to do a G major one here on the 3rd fret. I've got first finger barred right across. I have that E shape underneath it with the second finger. You can see here the second finger, 3rd, and 4th. Let's look at that diagram one more time. Just here. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger. The bar's gone right across. Now, the biggest little hint I'll give you guys when it comes to bar chords, if your fingers are on the guitar, past the bar just there, they are not going to make a sound. The bar back there is not going to make a sound because they're getting cut off by the strings in front of them, which means that you only need, if you're doing this chord, you only really need to emphasize the pressure on the tip of your first finger and the knuckle at the end of it there as well, just there. So and that's going to really help you get that nice clean sound. Make sure your fingers are still curved and not down. That's the biggest problem that people have, is they won't curve their fingers and they won't use their thumb at the back to really squeeze with the first finger. So here's our major shape. It's based upon an E open chord. Our minor chord is based upon an E minor chord. So if I go up close again, here's your normal E minor open chord. If you do that with your 3rd and 4th finger, playing E minor, like so, all strings, you can slide it up wherever you need to and put that first finger on like so, as we've talked about with the bar, and you've got yourself your minor shape. So majors with the second finger on, and it's nice and easy to go between that major and minor. There's a minor with the second finger off, second finger on, major, minor, major. You can hear the difference. Major has a very much a brighter sound to it. Very happy. Minor, not so much. A little bit more on the, it's a little bit more moody, so to speak. It's a little bit more moody. So that's your major and minor. That's the first ones. If you're brand new to bar chords, I just want you to concentrate on those two. I'm now going to go to the major and minor on the next string. Any questions about the major and minor on the low E6 string? And so once again, wherever if I need to play myself a B bar chord, I'd go up to the 7th fret. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to the B. And I'll do that shape with my bar being across the 7th fret, just there for the B chord. Now, that's the E string chords. Let's look at the A string chords. Going down here. We're going to look at the major and minor first of all. Now, this first one here is tricky. This first major is tricky. I'm going to show you 2 ways to play it. There's one way I prefer to play it over the other. You can see here, this one with the A string chords, they don't use the bottom E string. Only 5 strings. Let's go close up and learn this major chord there. Lock it into your brain just there as we go to the next screen. So what the diagram said, I'm going to do it here on the 5th fret, which means it's going to be a D major chord. The first finger goes across the 5 strings. Now, a little quick recommendation here. No different to before, but with your first finger, have it slightly touching the E string. So you mute it. So that way you can, if you're getting all funky and you hit all the strings, it's not going to matter much because that low E string is going to be muted. Like so. Now, to be able to, there's 2 ways to play this major chord. 3rd finger down like that, or like this. Now, this is the way it's written down. I don't love it, but it allows you to get that top E string. This is with our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger on. And essentially, if you go down to the open string, this is our open A chord. So you would have done A maybe like this before, 1, 2, and 3. If you change your fingers to 2, 3, and 4, slide it up to wherever you need to go, you've got yourself your major shape just there. Now, if what I like to do instead is I like to use my 3rd finger, and I bar it from the D string downwards instead, because the 2nd finger is really awkward. This is an awkward hand position. The gap between the 1st and 2nd is really hard to get. If you bar your 3rd finger down, a lot more comfortable. You're essentially flipping someone the bird. You got your 3rd finger down like this, have as close to that fret as possible as always, and you're pushing down still with your thumb at the back to be able to get the pressure on the 3rd finger. Now, the cool thing about this is that your 1st finger only really needs to be on the A string just there, because what's going to happen is this 3rd finger here is going to push down over 3 strings, but on the last top E string, we actually want that muted. So that's our major just there. You see the benefits of doing it like this. You get that top E in there. This one here doesn't have that top E. So it depends on the sound that you want to go for. That is our major shape. For our minor shape, I'll show you on here, and then we'll go back to the picture in a second. Our first finger this is for D minor. Our first finger is barred across our 5th fret, like so, same as before. And this time we're doing an A minor shape. So where you have A minor down here, normally, change your fingers up, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, slide it up, and you've got yourself your A minor shape, just like so. So there's our A minor. Sorry, D minor because it's on the 5th fret, but that's our A minor shape. And once again, that first finger touching that E string slightly will give it a mute, and you got yourself a minor chord. So major, or major, and then minor. Let's have a look at a picture of it. Like so. Just there. Major and minor. Are there any questions at all about the major and minor chords on the E and A string at all? If you have any questions at any point, don't hesitate to ask in chat. And also, you can pick up these resources from my Discord, which has been getting spammed in the chat just there. Click on that link, and you'll be able to pick up the resources I'm using today. So, what is your biggest problems back at home? What are your biggest problems around bar chords? Any of you having any issues around bar chords? And if you are having any problems, let me know and ask any questions in chat as we move on forward. So we've talked about a major and minor on the E strings. We've talked about a major and minor on the A strings. Then that's all we're going to work on for the moment while we play a song. And then we're going to look at the other bar chords in a moment. So I'll get rid of that one. What do I need? I need this one. I need this one right here. So, and everything just decided to close down on me. I don't know if you guys ever had that problem where Windows 10 decides, you know what, we're just going to close everything out for you. We're going to minimize absolutely everything, even though you just moved the mouse. We're going to minimize everything. So we're going to look at a song from here, and we're going to use, we're going to do in fact, let's do a vote. Let's do a vote on what song we're going to work on right now. So I'm going to go back to the main page here. We'll go this one here. And I'm going to do a vote. So give me a second just as I set that up. And I want you guys to vote on which song we're gonna do here. Tammy says, "Sorry, I have to leave your class. It's time for bed." Tammy, thank you so much for being here. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you along. And I hope you're well. We'll talk soon, my friend. And yeah, have a great sleep. And once again, thank you for being here. And take care. All right. So where was I? What was I doing? A vote. We're voting. All right. Let me just start this poll. Right now, you should be able to see on screen a poll. Just there. Stand by me, little talk, stay with me, save tonight, I'm yours, or take me home, country roads. Right now in chat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 to vote on what song you'd like us to do first up here with our bar chords. I'm going to set a timer. Timer's going to go for 2 minutes. And while that timer's going, I'm going to talk through some more things about what we're about to do. So when we're going between our different chords here, and the 4 chords that we're going to be looking at are A minor, C, F, and G. So start getting a heads up right now on A minor, C, F, and G. We're going to do A minor on the 5th fret with our first finger barred across, 3rd and 4th finger like we mentioned, there for our A minor. Making sure that your thumb at the back really squeezing to give yourself that pressure that you need for that. Yeah, same songs again, Spanky, same songs, using the same resources, right, to achieve the same thing. So, yeah, they're the same songs, absolutely same songs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Right now, vote in chat. If we don't get any votes, I'll pick one for us. So A minor, from A minor, we have C, which is on 3rd fret, just there on the A string. So first finger goes across 5 strings, and that's the one where you can do the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger, or you can do that 3rd finger flattened down and try and mute the bottom E and the top E, like so, as we mentioned earlier. And then we have F, which is on the 1st fret. Now this one can be tricky depending on how your nut is down here to get this pressure. This is probably the hardest one to get the pressure down on because it's right on that 1st fret. But our F is going to use an open E chord shape that we talked about, just there on that 1st fret, like so. And then we're going to move that shape up 2 frets to G. So our 4 chords are A minor, C, F, G. Looks like the timer stopped. I don't know why it stopped for. It stopped at 1 minute 49. Weird timer. I'm not sure what you're doing, but I'll turn the timer off. Save tonight. Looks like we're going to do a bit of save tonight. Let's jump over to our blackboard and let's start learning save tonight. So here for save tonight we have A minor, F, C, and G. A little bit of the chat's kind of covering up the A minor there. It goes A minor for 2 beats, F for 2, C for 2, G for 2. So like I mentioned, for these bar chords, it all depends on what sound you want to get to be able to do that. And I'm actually going to write those chords. I'm going to write those chords at the top of the screen just here. Give me just a moment to do that. Any questions? Any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. I will do my best to always answer it as much as I can. All right, I'm going to write these chords in. A minor for 2. F. That way I can go over to the chord page at the same time. And that's going to be repeated. So you should be able to see those chords in just a moment here at the top of the screen. A minor, F, C, and G. So we're going to go back to the main page. I want you guys, well, not the main page, sorry, the bar chord page here. Oh. So let's have a look at it. A minor is our first chord. We've got our minor shape just that we looked at before. We can do the minor shape. We could do an open chord with the open A string, or we can do the A minor here on the 5th fret, which is what we're going to do. We're going to play it up on the 5th fret, our A minor shape. So it goes from A on the 5th fret. Next chord is F. We find F on the 1st fret just there on the E string, and then we play a major shape because there's another major. First one's a minor, second one's a major, sorry. Then it goes to C, which is on A3, and then finishes up on G on E3 just there. So we're going from the 5th fret to 1st fret to the A string, going to the 3rd fret, then back to the E string on the 3rd fret. So for this one here, A minor, A minor, F, C, G. A minor, F. Now for this one here, because it's quite a quick song, right? If you are looking for more advanced strumming patterns, feel free to do whatever strumming pattern you like. But I'll be talking through more advanced techniques like you just heard in some of those in another session. Today I'm purely talking about how to get these bar chords happening. A minor, F, C, and G. Let's give it a go. I'm going to put down a loop, and we're going to be practicing just on this particular song here, Save Tonight. I'm also going to put in some open chords from that first session in here as well. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, F, C, G. 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 A minor. Alright, so give it a go now. Have a play at home along to this. I'm going to get the lyrics up, and we're going to do a little bit of this song, and then we'll move on to the other chords. G. A minor. F, C, G. A minor. F, C, G. A minor. F, C, G. Go and close the curtains. All we need is candlelight, you and me, and the blue. I'm gonna hold you tonight. Well, we know going away. How I wish it weren't so. Take this wine and drink with me. Let's delay our misery. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Tonight. Here we go, the chorus. By the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Say tonight. And by the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. G. So how'd you guys go with that one? Did you give that a crack? Did you good go on that one? Using the bar chords, major and minor. We're about to go into some trickier bar chords now. Sevenths, major sevenths, and minor sevenths. So this one here was saved tonight. You can access the music through my Discord and any sort of extra resources. And we've got the bar chords here we're looking at right now. And if you had any troubles or it's gone too quick, please go back, pause, rewind, anything you need to do in the past broadcasts. So right now, let's move on. Let's move on to some of these trickier looking chords that we have here. So we've done our major and minor on both the E and A string. We're now moving on to our sevenths, our major sevenths, and our minor sevenths. Now these are pretty cool chords to play on the guitar, and some of them, I like the sound of some of these, absolutely, and I use them a lot. Now that can be a little bit trickier, particularly that major sevenths there, but we'll talk through it, and we'll get you guys playing these chords in no time at all. So let's go first of all with our seventh. Now really quickly, if you look at the major just here, where we had our E open chord shape just there, going over to this one here. This is an E7th shape on the open position. So a lot of you guys might have played that as an open chord before. If you change your fingers up, as I mentioned before, and this time you're going to use your second and third finger there for that seventh. Your first finger comes up as a bar, same as before. Let's go to our third fret on this one here for our G7. So first finger on third fret, barred right across, and do the same major shape that you just learned, but all you need to do is take your pinky finger off. So this one's not too bad, right? Let's go nice and close to get a close-up of that one for you right now. So where before we had a major shape, like so, all I got to do is take my pinky off, and now I have a jazzier sounding seventh. You can do a hammer on like this. Remember, if you were here last week, we did blues, and we learned a little bit of this. We learned about that, but today we're just doing the power chords and bar chords. So that's our seventh just there. So remember, pinky finger on is our major, pinky finger off is our seventh, adding a little bit of a jazzy sort of flair to the chord. Now, I'm going to show you actually jump to a different chord here, and we're going to jump to actually the A string down here, the minor seventh down here. To get to the minor seventh, if you look at the seventh up here and the minor seventh down here, you're going to see they look very, very similar. Let's see if I can get them both onto one screen. So you can see here that they look, seventh up here and the minor seventh look very, very similar. Except the minor seventh is that seventh shape moved all the way down, or the opposite way around. The minor seventh is moved up to the E string to create that seventh just there. So for this one here, there's our seventh, wherever you want to play it, depending on the chord you're doing. We'll go G7 just there. To get it to the minor seventh, I just drop everything down one, like so. And we now have this, one of my favorite chords ever, the minor seven. There's a seventh, there's a minor seventh. Any questions about that at all? So you can see there, from the minor that we had before, remember our major and our minor for our A string chords. All you need to do is take off one finger again, like you did for the other, the major and seventh. Take off your pinky, and you've got yourself there a beautiful minor seventh chord. One of my favorite chords. Beautiful sounding chord, that one there. So let's go back to the screen. So we talked through major, minor, seventh. We've done the minor sevenths down there, done the major, minor there. We still have major sevenths and to go here, and then a seventh chord just there. So let's talk through, up next, let's go to amazing lack of string squeak when you slip up and down that neck. Yeah, you know why? It's because my strings are old and not very good at the moment. So yeah, I haven't got much. With the new strings, you're going to get more of that squeak sort of sound. But my strings are pretty dead right now. So I've been meaning to change them. But what's happened is I'm down in the basement when I'm doing this, and it gets so dank down here, and then in the summer, and then it gets really dry in the winter time because the weather here in Alberta is very extreme. Dead strings can be good for a while. Yeah, they can be. Yeah, absolutely. A good. If you do have new strings, you get that more bright sound, of course. Also, guys, give me feedback. Let me know now or later on how you think this all flowed. If it flowed well, I do want to deliver really good classes to everyone. So I'm always looking to improve as well. Spanky says, I feel that my acoustics are all solid, so they live in their case. Yeah. I know that feeling. For sure. I get bad at putting them in the cases. I forget to. So where were we? So we've done major, minor, seventh. Minor seventh's pretty easy. You do a minor shape and you just take off your pinky finger. So there's a minor shape there. You take your pinky finger off and you got yourself a minor seventh on that low E string. So that was our minor seventh there on the A string. There's our minor seventh there on the E string. One thing I like to do actually is a minor seventh like this. So where I kind of cut that third finger out, and I do it with a second finger there and a third finger underneath it. You're going to end up with a very similar sound doing that there, though. Spanky says, I like a warm, almost blurry tone, so oftentimes I break my strings in as opposed to a slap on a new set before I record something. You're breaking your strings, yeah, before you do it. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty. That's a really good point, actually, that Spanky mentioned. Anything I'm saying to you guys today, by the way, is while it's been... This is good technique from a lot of people who over the years have experimented with different techniques and they've come up and said this is how the technique's done. At the end of the day, this is a piece of wood with string on it. All right, it's got a bit of wire going from one end to the other end. If you can do whatever you do, if you can do whatever you want on that, get experimental, try new things out. Try finding your own tone, your own style, and make it your own. At the end of the day, I'm all about creativity. If you've seen my channel, I'm all about the creativity. And the way I teach my students and how you learn right now is not to say, here's one song, we're going to learn that one song. It's how can I learn so I can play all the songs, is essentially how I teach. So everything you learn today is so you can play any song. Rather than specific songs. And that's kind of the way I teach. So that way, you got a broader catch-all for the things that you want to do. So yeah, that's kind of the way I do it. Spanky says, I have fingernails on all four of my fingers for a hybrid claw hammer technique, and I anchor with my wrist. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. So I'm a nail biter. It's a terrible habit. But finger style is something I'll do in another session down the track. We'll talk a bit more about finger style down the track as well. But absolutely, a lot of people will have shorter nails in the left hand, because if you have long nails and you try to get up in the tippy toes and you've got manufactured nails, you're going to have a world of hurt. Where if you're elsewhere, you're going to be fine. If with your right hand, if you got nails in your right hand, you can use it to pluck like plectrums on the strings. So where was I? I keep losing my train of thought. So let's go back to the board. Done major, done minor, done seventh. We've done the minor seventh. I'll come back to the major seventh in a second. We've done major, done minor. We haven't done the seventh here yet. We haven't done the major seventh here yet. We have done the minor seventh. Let's talk about the seventh just here first of all. So if you look at the major that we had before with the 2, 3, and 4, which was the A shape, this one here is an A7 shape. So if you go close up to the guitar, where you normally do like an A7 here, if you can rearrange your fingers so that you're using your third and fourth finger, like so, for an A7, then slide it up wherever you need it on the 5th string, and you got yourself now a 7th chord, like so. So as you can see, the first finger goes across. You miss a fret, always a fret gap there. This finger here is on the D string, this pinky finger is on the B string, and you got yourself that D7 just there. Spanky says, in my opinion, on the thumb, it didn't get enough tonal difference to be worth it. So you mean like with the thumb at the back, or hang on a second, all fingers on all four. You mean growing the nails on that one? Is that kind of what you mean on the thumb? Thumbnail, yeah. So I thought, yeah, thumbnail. That's what I thought you meant. Yep, gotcha. I got confused for a second there. So so let's talk about That's the 7th. Let's talk about the major 7th on the A string. I love this chord. One of my favorite chords. This is that one we're looking at right now. I'm going to bring up nice and close. Is this shape just here. It's a really nice shape. Got a little bit of a triangle there. And I'm going to talk you through what we've got here. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger, where, as you see by the diagram, up close on the guitar. I'm going to do this up on the 8th fret, which is going to give me a F major 7. I love this chord. Beautiful sounding chord. So there's our F major 7 just there. First finger's banged over. Then you got that little triangle shape. Second finger goes onto the G string. Third finger onto the next fret afterwards on the D string there, and the pinky finger off on the B string. 5 strings. Make sure have your first finger still touching that low E, so you mute it off, like we talked about earlier. I love this. Dun 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 ba ba dun, the girl from Ipanema goes walking and so forth, so on. So this one's a beautiful chord. Now I want to show you guys something even extra here. Take your pinky finger off and you got yourself an F major 9. How beautiful does that sound? So take your pinky finger off, you got yourself an F major 9 chord. I love it. Love the sound of that. Beautiful, beautiful sounding chord. So that's that one there. Now the last one, so that was one we just looked at there, major 7. The last one we're going to look at is the major 7th just here. Now this one here, I'm not going to do as a bar chord necessarily. It's not going to have the traditional first finger barred right across. You can see here we're using our first finger. You could do it that way, but we're going to do a little bit different here. First finger is on the E string, and that's what tells us what the root note is. And then you can see here we've got this almost an A minor shape over here on the other side. So let's go close up, see how to do this one. I'm going to do it as an A major 7 chord. So on the 5th fret, first finger goes on to E5. I'm going to bring the second finger up to B5 just here on the other end. Third finger onto D string 6th fret. Pinky finger underneath it onto G string 6th fret. Like so, if you can see my fingers clearly enough. Now, the trick with this one is I want this first finger to, rather before where I said to have nice curved fingers, this one here is going to come down slightly. It's going to touch the A string underneath and mute that. And on top of that, what I'm going to do as well is have it so it dangles over and touches the top E string down here as well. So that way, I have a mute on the top E string and a mute on the A string here. There, so that's the major 7. I love the sound. The major 7s are so nice. Beautiful sounding chords of major 7s. One up there absolutely with some of my favorite chords. So let's review. Let's review over what we've done here. Talking about our bar chords. They're so good, Spanky, aren't they? I love them. I love them. I can't get enough of that sort of sound. And the minor 7ths, I love the minor 7ths. So on this sheet here, now once again, if you've got any questions, please ask. Make sure you do ask. Or if you've got any, even if you have more advanced questions, feel free to ask. On our left-hand side here, we have our guitar neck. Wherever you see the red arrow, the note that is pointing to on the E string or the A string over here will tell you what the chord is. So if I want to do a C major 7 just here, I would start on the 8th fret just up here on the C, and then I'll do that shape with the first finger there. You have your second finger over here, and then 3rd and 4th. And remember to have your first finger cutting off the low E string for a lot of these chords, particularly on the A string chords. In fact, exactly on the A string chords. And make sure that when you're going through these chords, your pressure between your thumb and your first finger is really crucial. Making sure you're squeezing quite nicely between the thumb and the first finger to really get that pressure on the guitar. What we're going to do now is we're going to vote for one more song, and that will conclude our intermediate section for today. Are there any questions about any of the anything we've gone over as far as bar chords or power chords go? Let me know in the chat, please. In the meantime, we're going to start that poll again. We're going to reset it, and we're going to do that poll again one of these songs. So what song are we going to do now? And bearing in mind, what I'm going to do, will that work? Because I want to do some of the other chords. I want to do some of the trickier chords. What I'll do is I'll substitute some different chords in there, and I'll get you guys to play some more jazzier chords, so we can touch on some of those new ones that we just did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 in chat to vote on what song you'd like us to now play to conclude this lesson. Let me know in chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, please. What are we thinking? I'm going to have a look at the list right now, actually make a choice what might sound nice with some of these major chords in there, with some substitutions in there to make it a little bit jazzier. Let's have a look what we've got. Let's go with maybe something like all right, let's try. What are we going to do? We're going to try, we've got 5, I'm Yours. That'd be a good one, actually. Yeah. When you turned on me, I bet I felt it. You try to be chill, you're so hot that I melted. Let's give it a go. So, for the purpose of today's lesson, I'm going to change some of these chords on I'm Yours by Jason Mraz to really kind of use some of those newer chords that we just looked at. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to fix those chords at the top now. And this will be our last one that we conclude on. Now, if you stick around right to the end today, I am offering some prizes as well. So if you do stick right to the end of the third segment, we are going to give away some lessons today as well, some private lessons. So being that there's not a lot of people in here, it gives you a pretty high chance of winning the prize. Now you must be here and you must be followed to be able to win those prizes. In the past, I normally do someone who's sub or VIP or whatever it may be, but today we're going to do it for anyone who is here following. So I'm just going to change that text that's at the top of the screen just there to the chords that we're going to do for I'm Yours. So C major 7, I want you to start working on, please. And then we're going to go to a G7. This is just so we can get some of those chords that we did today underway and give it a go. We're then going to go to A minor 7. And then finish off with a F major 7. So it's going to sound like, once I finish typing this up, I'll show you what it sounds like. All right, hopefully it's going to be at the top of the screen now. It's a bit hard to see, isn't it? I might see if I can make it easier somehow. I'll put it down the bottom there. All right, so we're going to have C major 7. We're going to then go to G7. Up to our A minor on the 5th fret. Down to or up to our major 7. I'm going to let you make the choices on what you do. So now that we've got the chords down the bottom, I'm going to quickly transition over to those chords so you can have them there on the screen in front of you. So it's up to you where you go, what sound you want to go with. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to start with C major 7 on the 8th fret. And that's with that shape which isn't really, it kind of doesn't have that bar flat right over across. So C major 7 there. 4, 1, 2. Then I'm going to go G7 up on the 10th fret. Then I'm going to go to the A minor 7 on the 5th fret. And then I'm going to finish on the F major 7 on the 8th fret. So if you learn these chords, feel free to once again pause, rewind, or do whatever you need to do in past broadcasts. I'm going to put a loop down with these chords and play a little bit of a different little stylistic version of I'm Yours here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've actually done the chords differently to what I said I was going to do. I'm going to do both. I did one in the lower register. I'm going to do the same chords now, but in the higher register, so you can hear the difference between the tones. I didn't use a metronome, so excuse the fact that's a little bit out of time in there. So, so A minor 7 there. I'll record my voice. F major 7. Back to the start and C major 7. And G7. A minor 7. F major 7. Back to the start and C major 7 and G7, A minor 7, F major 7, back to the start and C major 7 and G7, A minor 7, F major 7, back to the start and C. All right, so that there was a little bit of a jazzier version of "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz, using some of those chords: C major 7, G7, A minor 7, F major 7 that we talked about earlier. So what I'm going to do is take another little 5-minute break here. This is the point where I ask: are there any final questions, queries, or doubtful points that we've done from today's intermediate section where we looked at power chords and bar chords? So just a reminder, in the background there, on the projector behind me, you'll be able to see some of the resources that we used today. So if you look in there right now, you should be able to see the bar chords. That's available on my Discord. I'll spam my Discord again. If you're not there already, head over to my Discord and go to the music education section on my Discord. You can grab that resource there. You can grab ones from the beginner sections we did last week, blues in A. You got your power chords that we looked at today, just there. This is absolute beginner stuff on this sheet here, about parts of the guitar and some basic sort of stuff there. And then the song selection that we had as well. So if you guys do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. What I'm going to do is take a quick 5 to 10 minute break again. When I come back, we'll be looking at how to put all this together. We'll be looking at including bass lines, keyboard lines. Basically, I'm going to show you how to play these songs stylistically in different ways. So, for instance, if we go, we might be like, let's do Little Talks of Monster Man, but let's do it as a reggae. Let's do it as, how would that look like? What parts and what sounds am I going to try to get together? I'll be talking about advanced techniques. My language will be a bit more advanced in the next section. And if you have any questions that is more advanced as well, that's the time to ask me. So right now, thank you very much for those people who are watching the past broadcast, or anyone who's been here from the start. Once again, if you hold around right to the end of the stream today, I will be doing some giveaways of music lessons or private concerts. So I'll see you guys in 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon.